Thank you for joining us now. I am Frank Omalape. Now, the House of Representatives on Thursday approved the federal government request to borrow $973.4 million from China Development Bank. This is coming on the heels of China-Exim Bank's decline of an earlier agreement to grant Nigeria a loan of $22.7 billion earlier approved by the National Assembly. Chairman of House Committee on Rules and Business, Abubakar Fulata, moved a motion for the Legislative Chamber to amend its resolution granting approval to the failed commercial deal. The motion was titled Rescission of the 2016 to 2018 federal government external borrowing rolling plan. Moving the motion, Fulata prayed the House to rescind its decision on the financier and harmonize terms and approve the change of financier from China-Exim Bank to China Development Bank, and the lawmakers unanimously granted the prayer. Chairman House Committee on Treaties, Protocols and Agreements, Nicholas Osai, who commented after Fulata moved the motion, stated that the executive arm of government failed to present details of Nigeria's commercial agreement with other countries to the National Assembly. And in the meantime, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo on Monday in London, United Kingdom, said the lingering crisis between Russia and Ukraine should be a wake-up call for African states to prioritize self-sufficiency in food production. He also said digitization remains Africa's best opportunity to make considerable progress in the global scheme of things. Osinbajo told a large audience comprising academics, scholars, researchers, faculty and students of the Africa Leadership Center, King's College, London, that the economic fallout of the war for Africa should be an introspective moment on the use or issue of self-sufficiency in food production. Senior Special Assistant to the Vice President on Media and Publicity, Laulu Akonde, disclosed the statement on Tuesday titled "How Africa Can Prosper in an Increasingly Complex World" by Osinbajo. Speaking specifically on the ongoing Russian-Ukrainian conflict, Osinbajo said apart from its consequences for international peace and security, the war has signaled a breakdown of the global order, which emerged at the end of the Second World War, adding that this is a source of concern to many African countries who now have to steer their way delicately between major powers. He, however, noted that the more immediate and consequential fallout of the war are the sharp hikes and the prices of food, especially wheat, sunflower oil, fuel and fertilizer. In the meantime, the International Labour Organization has lauded Nigeria's outstanding commitment to promoting tripartism, social dialogue and decent work. In a statement issued by the Director of Press and Public Relations, Ministry of Labour and Employment, Olajide Oshudun, the Minister of the Ministry, Dr. Chris Ngige, was welcomed by the Director General of the ILO, Gilbert Haumbo, during their meeting in Geneva, Switzerland. He commended the Minister for his work and expressed his appreciation for his dedication to the field of labor and employment. The statement noted that the Minister was in Geneva to attend his last governing body meeting of the ILO. Ngige, however, has presented to the ILO boss two instruments comprising Convention of 1975 on migrant workers and the Convention 1997 on private employment agencies, which Nigeria ratified. Humbo, while receiving the convention, said they noted the renewed passion and commitment with which the Nigerian government had given a tripartism social dialogue and decent work in the past few years. According to him, this is making it possible to ratify 4 conventions in a year. And now, Nigeria Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress Tuesday suspended their planned strike earlier slated for Wednesday to protest the scarcity of Naira roads. The two unions said they will monitor the availability of cash in commercial banks for 2 weeks before deciding on the next line of action. President of NLC, Joe Ajero, and TUC Festus Osifo said this during a joint press conference on Tuesday in Abuja at the end of the National Executive Council meetings. Ajero said after receiving briefings from the Union State Councils in the 36th state and the Federal Capital Territory, the NFC decided to defer the planned stay-at-home directive issued to workers last week. The TUC president gave assurance that the union would continue to protect the interests of workers and the Nigerians. And now the Emir of Kano, Alhaji Aminu Ado Bayero, has cautioned the Central Bank of Nigeria and commercial banks to follow the cashless policy steadily in step-by-step for the people in the country to embrace and familiarize with the new change. The monarch made the call on Tuesday when a team of the Bankers Committee of Nigeria headed by the CBN paid a courtesy visit to his palace. Bayero said although the policy is good and will bring positive development to the country, it has plunged people into suffering because it was introduced in a rushed manner, urging that they should be patient with people to accept it, especially in the rural areas. According to the Emir, instead of rushing the policy, the banks should embark on public enlightenment and awareness about the positive changes they stand to get if they embrace the policy, adding that they should also listen to feedback from people as it will help them to succeed in the policy. He advised that the e-banking system should be improved as it also contributed to the challenges people are facing, adding that they should liaise with the phone and SIM companies to ensure that the process is made easier for people. Speaking earlier, a deputy director of CBN, who is also the team leader, Mohammed Hamisu Musa, said the essence of the visit was to seek for the blessings of the Emir and also to urge him to enlighten the public to embrace the cashless policy because it has come to stay. And in the meantime, the Central Bank of Nigeria has barred banks and other financial institutions seeking a conversion license from expanding or reducing their current banking network in its new draft guidelines. The CBN discloses this in a circular to banks and other financial institutions, which was tied to regulatory guidelines for change of operational license for banks and other financial institutions in Nigeria. The draft was signed by the Director of Financial Policy and Regulation Department, Chibuzo Efobi. The CBN stated that due to increasing requests from financial institutions to either upgrade or convert to other license regimes, the draft guidelines aim to provide clarity to eligible financial institutions on regulatory requirements. And now the ongoing oil exploration in Nigeria's frontier basins is to grow the country's crude oil reserves from 37 billion barrels to 50 billion barrels, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited announced on Tuesday. NNPC also commenced the official spud-in drilling for crude in the Ebenyi well in Obi local government area of Nasarawa State on Tuesday and stated that the well will support in hitting the 50 billion barrels oil reserves target. This is coming 4 months after NNPC flagged off oil production in the Komani oil well located between Bauchi and Gombe State in November last year. The Group Chief Executive Officer NNPC Limited, Mele Kyari, told the audience on the Ebenyi well site on Tuesday that the oil firm had moved a drilling rig to the location and was optimistic of boosting Nigeria's daily oil output to about 3 million barrels. He also stated that mobilization for re-entry into the Chad Basin had commenced as directed by President Muhammadu Buhari, adding that the oil company was making progress in other activities in the frontier basins. Buhari, who spoke virtually during the event, said the Ebenyi well located in the Middle Benue trial was in line with the ongoing campaigns for the exploration of crude oil and gas in the nation's frontier basins. The president said he was encouraged by the work done by NNPC to exploit the prospect in the Middle Benue trial leading to the event of Tuesday in Nasarawa State.